Alright guys, I'm going to show you guys how to make one of these today, a nice little scarecrow for your classroom. It doesn't require too much. I know that I've got all these patches that have all these interesting patterns on them. The only thing that you're going to need is a full sheet of blue construction paper with a template, and then past that you can print out the designs that I have for you on Google Class or Google Drive for the hay, for the hands and the hair, the circle if you need to know, and then the hat as well. So hopefully this is a pretty easy project for you. The only thing that your students are going to need is a pair of scissors and some glue, and you should be all set. Alright, this is certainly a fun project that we have here. You're basically just going to need scissors and glue for this project, but there is a lot of prep work unless you have access to a printer. For the most part, I was able to print these on yellow paper. You guys should be able to just use your school's copier or something like that. I'll include the file for both the little hay here, the head, and the hat. They're not too difficult. If you were really stretched, you could probably do this just based on the drawing and just kind of do a rough size of it. But it definitely helps to have those. So I have all of the files of this, and this on my Google Drive, and you guys will have a link in the description. That way it'll help you guys out a little bit. This is the only one that you can't really print. I'm sure you could, I just didn't find that was easier. It was a lot easier for me to take a cardboard piece, trace out the image, cut it out, and then lay it down. And I would suggest not using the corrugated cardboard, not the ones with the holes in it, but something like a macaroni and cheese box. I use those all the time. So, but for this project, I'll go ahead and start cutting this up. It's great for students to learn how to start cutting. However, it does take a little while. If you're doing this with kindergartners, it might take 2 days to do, or you might just have to dedicate about an hour to an hour and a half for cutting and cleanup, because it will be challenging for the littler ones. But if you're doing something like 3rd grade, this could be done in about 40 minutes or so. So I'm just kind of coming around here, and I'm just going to start cutting it up. When you are actually tracing these out, you want to make sure that you have it folded in half, just like so. So you only have to do half the tracing. But I put one of the feet on the side so that it was a little easier for students. But once you have it folded, you're going to be able to trace your image. Like I said, go ahead and use some of that cardboard, the really dense cardboard like you might find on like packaging for like macaroni or something like that. One of the other things that maybe some of my eagle eye viewers might see is that if you notice that the edges are kind of a little bit lighter than the middle, this is some old paper that I had sitting around, and it had been sun bleached. I don't seem to go through my blue nearly as much as I go through other colors. So this is a perfect project for this. The same thing goes with the yellow, the orange, the brown. If you have some stuff that's sun bleached, that's had a little bit of wear to it, that's okay. This project actually works really good for that. So as far as assembly goes, I have all my pieces here. I have 6 of the yellow things. I have my orange, and I have my brown, and I have my blue. So when I open this up, it should look like a giant X. So I'm going to take my lovely little orange here. This is going to be my head. I'm just going to give him a little bit of glue at the bottom of his head, and I'm going to flip this around just because this side has the lines on it, so I want that part to be hidden. And then I'm going to go ahead and place this here, rub a little bit, make sure that I've got it. Once I've glued my head down, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my hat on. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue the hat down. The only problem I had with my kindergarten class is that since they saw black lines and we said cut the black lines out, I had several of them cutting this part out. It's okay if it happens. You can usually tape it on or glue it on top of it, and it'll be, no big deal. So I've got this part going. Next up, I'm going to take 2 of my hay, and I am actually going to attach them to the arms. So I want 2 hay for each of the arms. So we're going to go ahead and come over like this. Oh my goodness. All right. So we want it to go like this and like this, just so it looks like it's tons and tons of hay coming out. All right. Actually, and then this is another one too. You can totally do this beforehand. In fact, I probably should have before I got the hat down. But you want to get 2 pieces of hay on the side of on either side of his face. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this down, just like so. So like I said, the best order of this would be open this up, put the orange as the head, put the yellow next as his hair, and then put the brown hat on. And bingo! This is usually where we have students and they will color theirs, they'll grab markers, they'll draw faces. So I'm just gonna draw a little happy face here, and I'm gonna go just big fat happy face. So we're gonna go like this, and then we're gonna give him a cute little button nose. So like I said, you can give these guys, you can tell the students to decorate them as much as you want. It's up to you what you'd like your students to do. So one of the other things you could do if you have way too much free time and you are a teacher and you just feel like you need to use some of that free time up, I know how much I've got all the time, you can actually take some of these pattern pieces. So this is another teacher, they actually did this for me and I was so thankful that they did. But you can actually use some of these guys, and they are just patches. They're just basically regular paper, and I think they have a printed pattern on them. You can get them at like Michael's and stuff like that. And rather than having them draw the patches on, these guys will actually go pretty well as like patches for the individual, you know, scarecrows. And I mean, you just kind of vary it up a little bit so that they that the students don't all end up with the same type of patch job on their scarecrows. And then the really cool thing, and again, this is just above and beyond for this teacher that did this for me. I thank him so much. Is we go ahead and we have a triangular piece like this cut. And again, this doesn't have to be exact. It's just kind of an extra thing, but it kind of makes it look like they've got a little handkerchief there. But once you are this far, you are pretty much set with your lovely little scarecrow here. And when you hang these ones up, the kids go absolutely nuts for them. Like I said, you're gonna get a couple with, you know, mismatched hair and everything else, but that's kind of the great part about the orange is that the orange is mostly covered by the yellow. The yellow doesn't have to be perfectly cut, it's hay. And then this is about the only part where it gets a little interesting because you'll have students that try opening up before they cut it. So you wanna make sure that they keep it closed and it's double, which again, with the littler scissors, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for him, but it's doable. It's doable. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll try to keep you guys posted on another video. I know that there's a lot of things that we're going to be doing in fall and autumn, and I'd like to keep one step ahead so that you guys have something to do for your class and you don't have to like rush at the last minute.